Hi! Didn't expect to see me back this early, didn't you? Literally, just as I clicked the streaming off, we had a new tornado warning issued for portions of St. Mary's County. How about that for timing? This is including Lexington Park and Callaway and Great Mills. So, this is a part two to this coverage right now that we have. This is right near the Salem State Forest, right near Callaway. So, if you're in Lexington Park right now, you need to be getting into your tornado shelter. Remember, that is the lowest floor of an interior room. One that's fixed to a concrete slab or a foundation. Um, you want to be, and that's a tornado watch probably getting shaved off here soon. But one that's fixed to a concrete slab or a foundation, you want to be in one of those buildings. Don't want to be in a car. Don't want to be in a mobile home. Um, the goal here is to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you have a basement, go there. Interior closet, hallway, bathroom, that type of deal. Get into the bathtub there. Um, Also, protect yourself. Wear a helmet. Get blankets, pillows. Protect yourself from flying debris. That'll be the main danger here with this particular storm. No debris yet. Speaking of which, with this particular thunderstorm right now, none of these have had a CC drop this evening on any of the storms, so that's good news. But still, we have to watch this over the next 20 to 25 minutes until the top of the hour. That's a new tornado warning that just got issued. Um, I was looking back at this Annapolis storm. There's still rotation, but as you can see here on the Bay Bridge camera, it's going to be very hard to see anything because we are rain wrapped. It is shrouded in a lot of rain if we're going to see anything. So, yeah, good luck. Even I can't see them. We're trained. Or actually, even I can't see it. I've tried to train myself to look out for any type of circulations within this. Try to look through the contrast, but you can't make anything out here. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing that would indicate to me or anybody that we had rotation, at least from this view, looking into the storm because it's so shrouded in rain. And as you saw there, we got some lightning. Pretty good lightning at that. We do have a camera near Lexington Park that I want to go down to, and that's going to be near Callaway and Great Mills. This rotation is pretty much over Great Mills. This is going to be a very, very interesting shot that we have here. Tornado watch. That's probably getting shaved off here. So let me just check that real quick just to verify for you. That might just be an extension. No, it's just probably a restatement right now. But they're probably gonna drop counties here rather soon, I would imagine, from this. But we still have this tornado watch through midnight for pretty much everybody. So there is that. At least everybody east of 81 and east of the Potomac River in that aspect. But this is Great Mills right now with this. And the wind is there, but I don't see anything that would be too concerning in terms of tornadic activity, at least yet. But man, this rotation's right there. That's 246 at Great Mills Road, if I'm not mistaken. It is right in the smack dab middle of Great Mills, right by the high school. So that's where we're looking right now. And it's raining heavily, but there's a little bit of a calm. So this thing might be closer to Lexington Park. No cameras there though. I'm gonna experiment here. You got Chancellor's Run. That's looking east. I don't get too much out of that. That's up towards California. So we'll have to stick with this camera in Great Mills. See if we get anything. But right now it's eerily calm in Great Mills, Maryland, St. Mary's County. In the capital city, we got thunderstorms here, obviously, and then this lineup that's heading towards the Mason-Dixon now, that's been eventful. We had some lightning flashes with these storms, by the way, tonight, so please be careful if you're out and about with these. But this is that storm that I was talking about in the first stream that went through North Cumberland. Was it like North Cumberland County, I believe? I have to remember that, but that was the one in Richmond County. I believe it was North Cumberland County as well, if my memory serves me correct. Again, I'm not the greatest Virginia geography aficionado. I know Maryland, I mean Maryland stuff pretty well, but yeah, that was the storm that went through portions of the Rappahannock Valley earlier, and now is moving up into our area now with this particular thunderstorm that's very close to Lexington Park. It was North Cumberland. Why my browser is being a pain? I do not know, but I'm trying to look at some different sources, so forgive me. But that's a view in Great Mills. There's nothing happening yet, as far as I saw. So, if anything, I hope that's just good news because the circulation right now is right over Great Mills, and it's getting darker. So, that's either one of two things. It's the sun's already gone down. We're past sunset, but also that could be the circulation just overhead. I'll have to wait and see. Um, but I'm watching that closely while trying to pull up a couple different sources. That that's the circulation. It's raining heavily, but nothing yet. Westmoreland. I'm sorry, North Cumberland is just to the north of Westmoreland County. So that was Richmond County, Westmoreland County as well. With that one, I just thought about it off the top of my head. So goodness, um, but yeah, I'm just trying to look at different information right now. Nothing really in terms of stuff that we have in terms of information. Just this rotation right now that's right over Great Mills that's currently not producing anything, but with the way things are set up this afternoon and have been set up this afternoon and into tonight, that could be a problem. Also, high wind, or actually not a high wind warning. I'm sorry, wind advisory is in place through tomorrow. Let me just get information on that. I have to go to a different. It would be wind advisory. It should be here, right? Do we have it? Um, I don't think so. They have it here, so I'll just click it over here. But we do have a wind advisory through tomorrow, and I might have to take off the radar for this. But west winds 15 to 30 with gusts up to 50 miles per hour are possible. Let me just clear off the radar here. As you can see, that does include Cecil County, Central Maryland, Southern Maryland, and pretty much all of Western Maryland, with the exception of our very highest elevations. And there's a flood warning that just got issued for Garrett County that will go until 3 a.m., I think. So let me just make sure. River flash flood warnings. There we go. We just got one here. So um, we do have a flood warning in place until 2:45 in the morning for Garrett County, and then portions of Grant County, Mineral County as well. So yeah, man, that's not good. 8:44, Doppler radar indicated heavy rainfall. It, due to thunderstorms, flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly in the warned area. Between half an inch of rain and 2 inches of rain have fallen, and additional rainfall could be up to 2 inches, but between 1 and 2. So for those of you in Garrett County, in low-lying areas where it floods very easily, you need to be aware. Please be mindful of where you are. If you know where you need to go, if you need to seek higher ground. That's just the MO of things ongoing right now. That's all I can tell you. Um, so just be mindful of that. But we do have our wind advisory here for 50-mile-per-hour wind gust through tomorrow across central Maryland, southern Maryland, pretty much all of western Maryland with the exception of the mountains and Cecil County. So I just thought you would want to know about that. Let's just take this off real quick. Wind, air. We'll take off the wind advisory here. And then we'll get back into this tornado warning that is right over Callaway and Great Mills. I'm also trying to look at this from Sterling, but the circulation would be closer to Lexington Park now, I think, with this compared to Great Mills. But we're also looking fairly high up. I mean, I can tell you right now how high we're looking. We're looking 5,000 feet up from Dover, and then from Sterling, we're looking how high? About 6,000. So we're kind of in between the two radars in terms of height right now. So that's the one thing. We're not a terrible zone in terms of radars and trying to get good readings, but this is one of those areas in the state where it's kind of in between. So we have to monitor that closely. And there is that new line that's congealing, by the way, back up towards the metro area. That's going to be moving in within the next 30 to 45 minutes. And a new tornado warning just got issued here. Let me get this here. This is eastern Montgomery, northwestern Prince George's County. Some of the same areas from earlier as that storm that's over the city now was moving through are under another tornado warning. Let me just get the latest information on that.
New radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
Let me just pull this up for you. So we're going to be here for a little while longer at least. This is a new tornado warning for northwestern Anne Arundel, southern Howard, southeastern Montgomery, and north central Prince George's counties until 9:15. At 8:47, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Hillendale or near Langley Park, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. Beltsville, Fairland, Colesville, White Oak, Laurel, 8:55 would be your time to really be impacted by the brunt of this. Fulton, Calverton, Burtonsville, Four Corners, Montpelier, Skaggsville, Silver Spring, and Cloverleaf, you're also under the gun for this. So please be mindful of this. Please be mindful of this and head down to your tornado shelter again. So, man, it's flaring up. It's definitely flaring up near White Oak. It's not confirmed, but it's there, and that's the one concern that we have. It's looking a little intense, at least on the wind side of things. I can do a reading of the winds here real quick. We're getting 45 miles per hour here, and I'll actually pull up Storm Relative. I know it might hurt the eyes a little bit, but just brace yourselves. I'm getting 44 against 22. So we got some circulation there, and this is very close to the Sterling radar, so we're going to get a good reading on this. I would at least hope so. And you can almost see what looks to be a hook echo. So let me just do this. See how it's just like hooking over and wounding up? We may have something trying to develop near White Oak. And let me just for perspective, let me try to smoothen this radar out here real quick, just so you can see this. I don't usually do it because it decreases the resolution, but see how it's curling? And I'll turn off the inspector. See how it's curling back towards Cherry Hill Park and Calverton? See what I mean? We're kind of losing that resolution. So that's why I try not to do it too much. This is a gritty version right here. This is a pretty gritty version. You actually kind of lose resolution when you do that. That's the one problem with this. Like you got the resolution there, but you're losing it for the aesthetic of looking a little bit more clean, a little bit more streamlined. But it is what it is. This was actually not terrible in terms of the resolution. Could be worse. I'll keep it for now, just so y'all can see things a little bit better and you can be more accustomed. But there's our storm near Lexington Park. I'll pull this up from Dover. Dover has a little bit of a closer view. You can see how it's like bending over, curling over towards Callaway. That's where our circulation is right now. Not the strongest, but it's there. I wonder if they're going to drop this. I really do. Nothing yet. No word yet, but we're watching this very closely. This is right near the Patuxent station as well. So let me pull up while I'm here. Let's do our observation history, and I'll go to Patuxent. St. Inigoes will be interesting, but also do Patuxent. St. Inigoes today. What was our winds just now in St. Inigoes? I'm very curious. We had a gust of 20 miles per hour about 40 minutes ago, but that was really it. Let's check Patuxent. That's going to be a little interesting. So far, we had a 22 mile per hour wind gust about 20 minutes ago, actually 30 minutes ago now, in at the Patuxent base, and that warning got shaved off a little bit. So your circulation would be pretty much right over Lexington Park at the moment, and may more or less be right over the Patuxent River, for that matter, right near Solomon's. It's weak rotation, but it's still there, and you have to be cautious with this.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
And there's that update. So, for those of you in far southeastern Calvert County, and I mean east of Highway 2, east of Lusby towards Pappas, the Chesapeake Ranch Estates, Drum Point, Park Chesapeake, and Bryanwood, Driftwood Beach, Seahorse Beach, along the Patuxent River, that's where you need to be heading into your tornado shelter, just to be on the safe side with this, because you're still under a tornado warning, and even a smaller tornado can do some rather substantial damage if not respected. Let's get back into the DC Metro with this storm. This is starting to get into the extreme northern tip of Prince George's County. No debris yet, but still, we're watching this. This would be near Calverton, heading towards Contrera and Laurel, South Laurel, the West Laurel area as well. Pretty much all of Laurel would be under the gun with this, and then up towards Savage and Jessup, eventually crossing 32, the Patuxent Freeway, if that does hold. But we'll have to watch this closely if that does continue to develop, and that's at least you're getting some strong winds right now in Calverton, heading into Ammondale and Rocky Acres, Beltsville Heights, Muirkirk, the Carver Memorial Cemetery. You're gonna get in on some of this as well. The Grandada Mexican restaurant is right here as well, in Muirkirk and Ammondale. So if there's tornado, it's right there. Some in the States. We'll have to watch this, because if this continues on this path, I mean, that's heading towards the city again. So I have to keep tabs on this particular thunderstorm, and that's on the back line. Again, this back line here is what's marking the end of the severe weather. So if you are along and west of this line, you're done. Essentially, along the Potomac River, Charles County, PG, Montgomery, Frederick, Washington County, back west, your severe weather threat is done. If you are in Metro Baltimore, if you are, let's say, east of 270 and along, let's say, the 83 corridor, along the 301 corridor, you're still under the gun. Make no mistake about it. So please be mindful of that over the next hour as this starts to progress towards the city of Baltimore, and we're getting past dark, so it's going to be very hard to see anything if we do have ground truth. There should be a lot of cameras in this area, especially around Laurel. So I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but I'm going to take the opportunity now to try to look for some cameras in the Calverton Laurel area. There's one near Conterra. That'd be right in the path of this. Let me find a good camera. All right, pull this up. This is 200 east at Conterra, and that's looking back west. If we have something, we should be able to see it come in. And we're getting lightning here outside my window, so that's why I'm looking. There's your circulation. Lightning is picking up with these storms that are moving again, so. Man, oh man. Gotta get your lightning with these storms tonight, I'll tell you. But there it is. There's your circulation on the radar. Watching this camera near Conterra, I don't see anything as of yet, but don't want to take that chance at this point. Just don't. This is gonna be right by the regional hospital. Getting towards Maryland City. Let me look at this. This is I-95 of the Patuxent. This is on my view. It's a heavy rain. That's looking. Right, that's 95 and Patuxent. Nothing there yet. It's raining heavily. Let me try to get this camera. 95 at 198. Nothing there. Look in the direction that we want. So we're going to abandon that one. And that rotation's weakening. A little bit at least, which is some good news. At least from the base velocity scans. It might pulse back up, but right now it's pulsing down. It's pulsing down right now, so that's good. But back to Conterra we go. This might be more or less towards West Laurel.
A new radar indicated tornado warning has been issued.
You have a new one? Yes, we do. Queen Anne's County. New tornado warning in effect for this storm near Stevensville. Kent Island, Queen Anne's County, extreme, and I mean the far southern tip of Kent County, just south of Rock Hall. We got a new tornado warning in place. That will go until. Let me pull up the information here.
New information. This tornado warning has
There's
been
the
updated.
update. So that's coming from Mount Holly, by the way, because they're responsible for Kent County and Queen Anne's County, the Philadelphia office, Mount Holly, New Jersey. So West Central Queen Anne's County, Southwestern Kent County, tornado warning until 9:30. At 8:56, a severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado. Was located near Severn River, moving northeast at 30. So there's your circulation. It said near Severn River. And I'm assuming it would be this one right here that is approaching the Bay Bridge. We got to go back to the Bay Bridge cam. We have to, because this is going to get real interesting real fast. Bay Bridge. I'm going to bolt back there. That'd be on the middle portions of the bridge. So let's look at the other side. Gantry 19. Alright, I'm gonna take this full for a second. This is where our circulation would be right now if we have something. We have a potential tornado developing that is going to be very close to the Bay Bridge. All these circulations tonight are going to be rather strong, and it could be problematic in terms of tornadic activity. So we have a rotation that's pretty much right along the Bay Bridge right now as we speak. I'm going to try to give ourselves a good view, but I don't think we're going to get too many right now, at least on this side. Alright, we're going to go with this right now. And we're going to take this full. We're going to stick with this. So this is a storm that's heading into Stevensville right now. Rotation is broad, but it's there. Do I have Dover on? Yes, I do. So there's your rotation right now approaching the Bay Bridge. This is going to be approaching Stevensville within short order and then eventually Love Point. So that is your camera at the Bay Bridge as the circulation is overhead right now. If we do have something trying to touch down, it's going to be pretty much right over the bridge right now. So it's like we get one warning and then another. It's been a little bit more of a deluge with these storms here in the second round, and I don't mean to give you whiplash. I hope it didn't do that there. Goodness. The radar. Let me do this. Adjust back. And I'm going to take this a little bit smaller. I'm going to put this next to me on my side of the screen. And we're going to get in on this. So if we have a tornado right now, it's right on the Bay Bridge. If not, we're going to get some very heavy rain and some very gusty winds and lightning with this. But there's your circulation. It's kind of marked by a bounded weak echo region, if I'm not mistaken. That might be your BWER, your bounded weak echo region, and that's an indication of rotation on Doppler radar sometimes. Well, it's filled in now, but man, oh man. Sometimes some of the things you see on radar, very interesting, I will say. But there's your rotation. There is your reflectivity. It's going to be extremely hard to see this. That's why you should be in your tornado shelter. If we have a tornado, this is likely rain wrapped. This is a high precipitation supercell that is moving through right now across the bay and into Kent Island, Queen Anne's County, Kent County. So I'm going to keep that shot here of the Bay Bridge, but I'm going to go back to this storm near Laurel real quick, and I want to see if there's something trying to develop. CC is not there, and our velocities have weakened, which is good news. If we can keep that trend up going, we'll probably get this thing dropped here soon. They might have actually dropped it for all we know. And remember, I'm a one person working this, so forgive me if I seem like I'm kind of lagging behind a little bit, but I'm one person trying to manage all this, so forgive me on that. I'm also looking at storm reports. Nothing as of yet in terms of new reports other than the ones I read a little bit earlier on. Let's go into our warnings. And we're going to get back to LWX. Let's try. All right. They haven't said anything yet about dropping this, but I would not be surprised if the Weather Service decides to go ahead at some point and drop this because the rotation's definitely weakened a good chunk. And even looking at SRVs, not much. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too on guard with this. Um, the rotation now on Doppler radar, and I'm going to switch back to Dover on this, is now north of the Bay Bridge. It is heading towards Love Point. Remember, we're looking at velocity here from the Dover radar site. That's near Dover, Delaware. So the greens would be toward the radar, reds would be away. And that's where we have our rotation. It's broad right now. It's not a tight couplet that would have me off the walls concerned, but still, we have rotation. And now we're getting the heavy rain on the backside of this on the Bay Bridge camera, and that's the one problem. Unless you're in the bear's cage, which we consider the rotation of the storm around all the rain, you're not going to be able to see this if there is a tornado. That's why you have to be in a place of safety, because it's going to be very, very challenging to try to spot this. It's rain wrapped and it's nighttime. You're not going to see this coming. Pardon me. Moving back into PG County, nothing here to really be too concerned about right now. So there is that. But damaging winds could be on the table. Pardon me. And I think this is gusting out. This may be a problem in terms of damaging winds for West Baltimore as it starts to progress in, because it's bowing out. It's kind of fanning itself out. It's expanding, but it's also pushing out wind. So it's the downforce is there, but it's just like pushing out the wind as well. It's just pushing out the wind ahead of this. So for those in Ellicott City, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some good wind gust and we're getting some good lightning as well. So, yeah, no doubt. Got some problems. All right, let me get back at the view. Look outside the window because I see some lightning and everything going on. So, whew. It's been a day of severe weather. I'll say that across the state of Maryland, but at least in central Maryland, we're kind of getting towards being on the other side of this, which is good news. But Metro, we still got to go through a little bit more of this, at least in the next hour, probably, across Metro Baltimore. Probably more like 30 minutes across the Western Shore, Anne Arundel County, Calvert County, St. Mary's County in particular with these. But as we move on to the Eastern Shore, these storms are going to continue to be problematic. They may produce more warnings down into the Delmarva. And, man, yeah, I think they might have stopped traffic going into Annapolis, going back across the bridge. So there is that. I think, they got somebody going through, but right now that rotation would be near Stevensville, and that's looking even broader than it did. So that might end up getting dropped early, which would be good news in that regard. And we would again be without tornado warnings, knock on wood. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, our circulation here in PG County is not the greatest either. We may end up with these warnings getting dropped at some point, and this transitioning to, once again, a flood threat, at least within the near future. Now, beyond that, we will have to wait and see, because these storms, the problem is they're still out by themselves. We got one back here in St. Mary's County, getting into Dorchester County now. We got this little cluster here. We got it's a little more linear towards the western shore of Anne Arundel County, but then we got our cellular storm up here, getting into Queen Anne's County, Kent Island, and Kent County, and then we got a cluster here northeast of the city towards Towson and Kearney and Overley, and then we got our storm that's been causing problems over the last hour or two that's moving through northern PG County, Howard County, Carroll County, getting to western Baltimore now. So these storms are kind of still out by themselves. They can still easily rotate. That's why I'm a little bit concerned, but we're getting towards the latter end of this. I mean, most of southern Maryland's in the clear. The Potomac Valley, in general, right now, with the exception of St. Mary's County, is in the clear, which is very good news. We just gotta wait on what does the Weather Service do with this warning right now. I think they're gonna drop it. Okay, Anne Arundel, Southern Howard, Eastern Montgomery, North Central Prince George's will expire at 9:15, and it's weakened once again. So this tornado warning is done, finito, yeeted out of everything that we have right now, which is good news in that regard. So officially, we're going to be down to one tornado warning. That's this one right here in Kent County, Queen Anne's County. I'm going to see what the Weather Service in Mount Holly is saying about this. Let me just check that for you. Where are you, Mount Holly? Holly, Philly, wherever you are, come out. Come on. There you are, KPHI. Nothing yet from Mount Holly yet in terms of if this is going to get extended. Just know West Baltimore, you're going to get some heavy rain and probably some lightning here and some gusty winds with this thunderstorm that's moving up from Ellicott City into the city of Baltimore itself. So, got another round of storms here that's going to be moving its way through over the next 30 minutes. So, just know that. But we still have this tornado warning, Kent County, Queen Anne's County, for another 15 minutes. Really, 18 minutes at this point, as this is progressing into the eastern shore. Rotation's not the greatest. Rotation is still not there. Not the best. Very broad in nature. So I'm really hoping what is going on here is we're getting a merger of these two cells, and this is becoming more linear. That is my hope. If we can get that to happen, that would be more than good news for everybody. We'll have to wait and see. The watch got updated.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
Yeah, that was just the update that we had just now. So sometimes the system runs a couple minutes behind, but we still have that there. For those along the eastern shore, Kent County, Queen Anne's, Caroline, Talbot, Dorchester, you're going to get on some storms here. Some of them could be severe. Some of them could be just below severe limits. We also have some more storms getting up into Somerset County. So Crisfield, Marion Station, getting into Fairmont and Westover, Cottage Grove, right near the Wildlife Management Area, Winona. The Fairmont Wildlife Management Area, that's going to be heading up into Princess Anne not too long from now. So for those in Princess Anne, for those in Mount Vernon, you're going to get in some storms. Below severe right now, but something to watch for nonetheless. I'm trying to play this, but it's having a hard time keeping up. But yeah, it's moving northeast. So for those of you in Princess Anne, Mount Vernon, eventually Salisbury, Fruitland, Wycomico County, you want to pay attention to this one. I don't know if Wakefield's going to issue a warning on this, but we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, we got some special marine warnings for this complex that's moving into Dorchester. So this polygon's going to disappear here in a second. That's over towards Laurel. And then we got this one warning that's still in effect for Kent Island and Kent County, Queen Anne's County. This is going to be pretty much along the Chester River, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it's right at Love Point, but it's going to go into the eastern neck of the Chesapeake Bay, right by the National Wildlife Refuge, right by the Chester River there. So, man. What a night this has been in terms of just warnings. I don't know if we get anything confirmed. I hope we don't, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Love Point Road right here. that's right near this circulation. Let me just get some more streets. Groman Road, um, Pettinot Place, Ackerman Road, Larch Place. Um, Further up into Loves Point, we got Chamberlain Lane, Harwood Lane, Simmons Lane, McLeod Lane, Sweetbriar Lane, Bylander Lane, Bay Ridge Drive, the State Park. So, for those in that area, you still need to be in your shelter. And then Hickory Thicket, um, over towards Recovery, you need to still be in your shelter right now as this is progressing. But I will say I wouldn't be surprised if this gets dropped here within the next 15 minutes because this is looking a lot weaker than it did when it was over by the Bay Bridge. So if there is any good news with that, that would be that sign right there. We'll have to watch for the ticker. If the ticker switches to green, we'll get word. But we'll have to wait and see. And there's no official word from Mount Holly as of yet, which is good news for now. But again, it's a watch and wait. I'm feeling this flood warning is going to be expanded more into the West Metro because of the rain that we're about to get here in Pikesville and Owings Mills, that we're seeing in Eldersburg, that we're about to get into Randallstown right now, and Woodlawn. It's in Woodlawn right now, actually. So, for those driving Liberty Road, for those driving Reisterstown Road, this is about to get real heavy, real fast. Into Granite we go, right by Northwest Regional Hospital. We got some heavy rain about to move in, right by Winfield Elementary, Winter Mill Road. Let me just get it a little tighter. Dogwood Road. This is Old Court. So this is Old Court Road. This is getting towards the Randallstown area, the hospital. The Randallstown Plaza is there. The Walmart there is about to get some real heavy rain. The Woodhome Country Club getting into Pikesville, Winans Road, Harrisonville, Lions Mill Road, Northwest Regional Park. The Ravens facility is probably getting into some heavy rain. It's probably going to get heavier from here. Holbrook, Chevette's Corner, into Eldersburg, Sykesville. The Walmart there, which I frequent from time to time, that's going to head into that area. So, man, you're getting some heavy rain. So I really hope you're inside and not stuck here on the roadways. Right by Newtown, the Metro Center, into Owings Mills, Foundry Row. I just hope you're indoors because we're going to get some very heavy rain that's going to take down visibility for a while here across the West Metro and the Northwest Metro. But heading back down to the south, there's a warning still in effect until 9:30. No official word from Mount Holly still, but I think they might just let this ride until 9:30 with this. Just watching this, don't see anything too concerning. So, and this is becoming more linear. So I think we're starting to transition. Although I will say within the linear line, we do have segments of thunderstorms into Dorchester County, this one into Kent County, into Talbot, and then on the back end we have these storms that are really starting to struggle to intensify, if at all, because we already had a lot of rain in this area. I think that it's starting to really hinder the effectiveness of this particular segment here that's moving through the West Metro now, because we've already had some rain that might have taken a little bit of edge off the atmosphere, at least for now. So that might be our one silver lining or one saving grace for right now, but we'll have to wait and see. Back west, we've dealt with a lot of flooding across West Virginia, the Ohio River Valley. It's been a mess. Morgantown. If you have family up that way, just check in on them because, man, there have been some flooding reports out in West Virginia. For example, I'll just name them off.
New information. This tornado warning has been updated.
Interesting. Let's check that real quick before I check these storm reports. Um, Still in effect, so that's all they're saying from the Weather Service about Holly right now with this particular storm. As a matter of fact, hang on. Do I have a different source that can look at this from a little bit of a different angle, or is it still out? Let me just check this real quick. Yeah, it's been out since 2 weeks ago, so nah. No. All right. Because the old system I used to have, it has the radar in Denton, the Denton Doppler that maybe could have picked up on this. It might have been on the very edge of the range, but that radar's been down for about 2 weeks now, so we haven't had that one. But this one right here in Dover will do, and we don't have the best circulation right now. The warning is strictly for extreme eastern or extreme western Queen Anne's County, right by the Chester River, in the recovery area. No major settlements here. We just got Togman's Neck Road and Easy Lane, and also Piney Farm Lane, and that might just be an alleyway to a house. Okay, it'd just be like a little small road to a house, a couple houses there, but no major settlements here other than Hickory Thicket in far, and I mean the far southern tip of Kent County, under this warning. So we're getting into some not so populated areas, but across the river we got Recovery, we got Mallard Point, we got Corsica Landing, River Estates, Conquest Beach, Earl Landing as well. So we'll have to wait and see if this does hold. There's Cliff City, Ashland Landing, Browns Corner, Starkey Corner. So we got some smaller communities here across Queen Anne's County before we get to Sudlersville, but not the most right now. But that's our situation with these warnings as of this very moment. Let's just look at the rain aspect of this, and it's starting to get more linear. It's definitely becoming more linear, which would very much encourage me in terms of any tornadic activity being decreased over the next 20 minutes or so. Really, maybe 10 if this warning gets dropped, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, there's something we'll have to watch for, but I could go back in terms of different views. How about that? Okay. That's neat. I could just switch between different places. Alright. Enough fooling around with that. Velocity is not the strongest. Let's just watch. We may get an extension. This is trying to tighten up over the wildlife refuge. It's trying. It's really trying. We might get a new warning with this. Who knows? Be good. We'll have to wait and see. The Weather Service may extend this warning. So I'll wait for word from Mount Holly. And this would be a QLCS if it does. So there it is. Let's match this up with reflectivity. There's a hook. It's trying. These storms have been persistent. They have been insisting on not going away tonight. That's the one thing I'm going to say about these thunderstorms. They have not gone away. They have refused to. But, man, oh man. These storms, when you think they're done, They got one more left in them. They are Houdini. But we'll wait and see. Um, Heavy rain across the metro. I wouldn't be surprised if we got the flood warnings again. And then, really, after this, I mean, Western Shore, you're done. You are done, which is good news. Very good news. But we have to turn to tomorrow because why? Marginal risk for almost everybody. Again, we had our slight risk today, but tomorrow's marginal. Tornadoes, thankfully, will not be in the question for pretty much the duration, but wind for just about all of us and hail for the southern tier of the state up to 1 inch. And even then, that's a 5% risk. That's nothing to really be super, super concerned about. Out in Oklahoma, they got 15% risk tomorrow for that. But here, at least, we won't have to contend with that. By the way, if you have any loved ones out towards Oklahoma City, over towards Tulsa, Wichita, they're going to have some problems with severe weather tomorrow, including hail. Tornadoes, I think, are a threat. And then wind, definitely a threat. Hail, definitely a threat as well. So, there is that. But here, our main concern is just going to be damaging winds if we do get anything tomorrow with the line that's going to be moving through. So, be mindful of that. We're coming up on the end of this warning, so this is going to get a little interesting. What does the Weather Service do with this latest flare-up right over the Chester River? I think they might be holding out for the next scan. If the next scan does show it continuing to strengthen, we'll get a new warning, but we'll wait and see. No new statements. But holding on for the next scan, I'm willing to bet. So we'll get this here soon, and then all right, there's our new one. The hook is still there. Hook is still there. It's right over the Chester River, near McKinleyville. That's the latest reflectivity. Velocity, we're gonna get it in soon, but that will be the tell-all. But we're looking in this area to see if the circulation does continue. And we got 90 seconds of this warning, so this is gonna get interesting to watch. I hope this may become anticlimactic. We'll have to wait and see, but this is quickly becoming a more interesting situation as we evolve over time. No debris. Let's trash this. Haven't gotten the latest velocity scan in quite yet. Timestamp is still at 9:22. Alright, is this warning? Are they gonna let this expire? Are we not gonna have any? Hang on. Alright. Val Holly just said it. The warning for Central Queen Anne to southwestern Kent will expire at 9:30. It is weakened below severe limits and no longer capable of producing a tornado. However, gusty winds and heavy rain are still possible with this thunderstorm, but the warning will be allowed to expire. So, a little anticlimactic there. We had a little bit of flare-up rotation, but that warning is gonna get dropped here in about 15 seconds, at least on my side of things. The stream may be a little bit delayed, but it will be dropped here at 9:30, which is good news. So that should be coming off the board right now. So, what? I might hang on with this for 5 to 10 more minutes though. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what I'm seeing near Hickory Thicket. I don't. I just don't. Hmm. Could that be something? Potentially. We'll have to wait and see. But at least for now, that warning's dropped. But if you are in Cliff City or McKinleyville, Conquest Beach, Corsica Landing, Ashland Landing, Pacomath, you need to be paying attention and staying close to a source of information for a little bit because we have rotation in this area. I wouldn't be surprised if the Weather Service tries to once again go with a tornado warning on this storm, but it is becoming more linear if there is one good thing about this. And that hook is starting to weaken a little bit. I'm going to go back in time. Pardon me. And we're going to look at this together. There's your hook. Intensified, but it might be also trying to gust out. Notice how it went from more of a like a C shape here to, let's say, a comma right here. Like it's bending back right here. It may also just be gusting out, and then we're getting the contrast of the winds there. That's what I'm thinking, if that is the case on reflectivity. But even then, Rock Hall, McKinleyville, Cliff City, Johnsontown, Corsica Landing, pay attention because this one right here I don't trust because it's been trying to flare up, but it's also becoming a little bit more linear. Well, we still have a hook. The hook's still there. It's just very faint. It's very faint in terms of how it looks on reflectivity. So if we do have that, it's gonna be there. But we'll have to watch this closely. But I doubt anything is happening for right now, at least in terms of tornadic activity. But again, something to really be mindful of. Big board. We have all of our storms here. Let's check Taylor's Island because that one's having that one may get warned. This one near Taylor's Island in Dorchester, that one may get warned because that has a hook on it. Again, and it's out by itself. It's getting a lot of inflow. It's not being as interrupted by any storms to the south. I mean, we got some towards Salisbury and Crisfield, Smith Island that are trying to play catch up, but we'll have to wait and see. But this one's in a situation where it can get more of that warm air from the south as inflow into this storm. So that's why my concern is a little more heightened now for Dorchester County and Taylor's Island with this particular storm, and that's heading up towards Cambridge. So, Cambridge, you need to be on alert once again because got a storm here near Taylor's Island that at some point may get warned. We have a bunch of storms that are still trying to rotate. They're still active right now, but again, we'll have to monitor this. In the metro, just some heavy rain. That's starting to break up a little bit with the rain cooled air that we've had. And just as I say that, tornado warning, Kent County. Great. Real cute. Y'all, give me about 30 seconds. I need to do something real quick. I'll be right back.
A new radar indicated tornado.
Let's get back in. All right. Let me transition back. So this is our new tornado warning for central and northern Queen Anne, southern Kent County. That will go until 10 o'clock. This is that rotation that we were just talking about as I was contemplating ending the stream. It is right over the Chester River right now, just to the south and east of Rock Hall. So getting in close and getting some of the communities. I'm sorry, not wrong one. There we go. McKinleyville, Cliff City, Johnsontown, Quaker Neck Landing, Ashland Landing. This is where the rotation is going to be nearby right now. It is heading into Cliff City at this very moment. So if you're in Cliff City, you need to be in your tornado shelter. Remember, that is the lowest floor, of an interior room. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. One that's a building that's fixed to a concrete slab or foundation. So you don't want to be in a car, don't want to be in a mobile home right now. I know it is raining, it is pouring, there's lightning, but mobile homes in damaging winds or tornadoes are death traps. So you want to get out of those. That is heading up towards Chestertown. So if you are in Chestertown, if you're in the Grove, you need to start thinking about where you need to go. And this is trying to tighten up a little bit. So we have a tornado on the ground right now. It is right in Cliff City at this moment. Also, we're looking from Sterling. Look at it. There it is from Dover, and it looks a lot more strong in terms of both the directions, both toward and away, but it's broad. It is broad, so I want to stress that, but it's tightening up. It's this area just near Langford Creek and the Chester River into Cliff City that is of the most concern right now. I'm looking at the debris, nothing yet, but man, that's probably some of the best rotation that I've seen on velocity the entire night with this. So for those in Chestertown, for those in eventually Crumpton and Sudlersville, we may have to worry about this. So let's pay attention. Sudlersville, Crumpton, towards Chesterville, Millington, Massey. Things could get interesting over the next little bit with this particular thunderstorm. Now, I did mention earlier we may get a warning for Dorchester County based on what I'm seeing, but right now it's not the best. So hopefully it stays that way. But this storm near Madison that's heading up into Cambridge right now could be rather substantial later on down the line because it's out by itself. It's got warm air flowing into it. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But this is the one right now that it's been a problem child. It's been a problem child since Annapolis. It's been a problem child since Anne Arundel County, and it's just continued. It's persisted in trying to produce tornadic activity for the better part of at least 90 minutes to 2 hours now. I tell you. There's your rotation. Cliff City is right in this. So 2136, 2135. So it's right there. If we have a tornado, it's rain wrapped. And that's the scary thing about this. It's rain wrapped and it's nighttime. We're in the dead middle of the dark now. So if we do get anything that pops up, it's going to be very hard to see. That's why you need to be in your tornado shelter. And that's the only game in town in terms of any severe weather warnings at the moment. We do have flood warnings across the metro. We do have Talbot County, Dorchester County under some heavy rain right now, but nothing in terms of like really heavy stuff, at least in the amount of severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. This is the only game right now in town, and it is this storm right here riding along the Chester River. So there's that. Yeah, the Chester River just runs up into Chesterville. So I'm just checking the geography on that, just making sure I got everything right. velocities are there, but we'll see what happens in this next scan. But this is where we are. We've dealt with storms now. What is this? This has been like what, 2 hours of coverage, and I just lost my headphones. Great, I just lost my headphones. But we'll keep going with this. Right now, this rotation's right near 289, heading into Cliff City. And I'll actually just do this real quick. We'll do last 50 scans. We'll just actually just do this, and I'll just progress it over the last 50 scans, so you can see how these storms have progressed over the last really 2 hours. Last 90 minutes to 2 hours, we've had these storms produce the damaging winds and the heavy rain in Frederick. We've had the heavy rain and the storms that produced the tornado warnings up in the DC metro, heading to the southwest part of the Baltimore metro. And then we've had now these storms on the eastern shore that have been very persistent and been trying to rotate for a long time now. Understand, we're back at 7:54. It is now on this latest scan 9:39, and we are seeing these storms just progress and continue to try to develop, especially this southern half. This southern half, nothing's happened all day down here, nothing. And now we're starting to get that development, and now we're starting to really get those storms to intensify and ramp up. So that's our current situation right now with these storms along the eastern shore. And we're getting some more activity into Comico County, even to Worcester County. Ocean Pines, Ocean City, we're starting to get some thunderstorm activity down there. But this is the main storm that we are concerned about right now. I'm waiting for a velocity update with this, so hopefully that'll come out soon. But there's our storm of concern. I'm going to look at this from Sterling. Right now, it'd be near Johnsontown. And we have that circulation. And I'm going to go back to Dover. There it is. So, right over Johnsontown, the latest scan from Dover is where we have our circulation near Deep Point Drive, Johnsontown Road, right over Fort Creek, and right over Willow Oak Lane. We got Quaker Neck Landing Road, Dugdale Lane. That might just be a small little street into some houses there. Doesn't have a name. Some of these too, but we got Old Town. We got Learman Road, Bergen Lane. So that's where your rotation would be right now. Debris, nothing yet, which is a good sign. But again, we're watching these very closely, and this is on the leading edge. So this would be like a QLCS type tornado, more or less at this point, if we do have something over Johnsontown right now. Wilmers, the Grove, heading towards McGinnis, that's where this is going to be heading next. And this is a persistent rotation. So it's been stubborn, and some of this air ahead of it has been untouched. So this may continue for a while. Like a lot of this stuff, a lot of this air mass out here in northern Kent County, Delaware, Sussex County, no, not Sussex County, I'm sorry, Newcastle County, Delaware, northern Kent County, Delaware, has not been touched so far today. Now with this storm coming in, there's more reason to believe, at least for the next hour, that this will continue its way into Cecil County. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that this make its way into southern Cecil County and eastern Kent County as well. So for those of you in Sudlersville, for those of you in Crumpton, they just cut the tornado warning a little bit. And let me just switch something here real quick. I'm going to go display, just so it doesn't double the audio here. But we got our circulation right now that's broader. It's broader in general, but there's a rotation that's trying to tighten up near Johnsontown. We'll see what happens with this. But that's the situation. The rain just picked up here in Baltimore. On the northwest side, we got some more storms back here, but again, below severe. But there's your rotation right now. And we'll go to... Let's go Sterling on this real quick. Right now, this rotation would be closer to Pomona right now, over near Wilmers, over towards the Grove area. But that's where it is. And if you are in the path of this, you need to be in your shelter. Let me check a bulletin update here from Mount Holly. This warning remains in effect until 10. At 9:43, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Old Town or near Centerville, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. So that's the latest update that I have and that we have gotten in here in this bulletin from the National Weather Service in Mount Holly, New Jersey, on this particular tornado warning. You can see where it's kind of notching a little bit again. So let me just draw this real quick. You can see how it's notching. And yeah. And again, we're looking a good ways into this storm. But that's what we're seeing from Sterling. And you could see that here clearly as well from Dover. Rotation. We haven't got any rotation updates in a little bit. Sometimes I will say the Dover radar does put out updates a little less compared to Sterling. I mean, there's Sterling, and that was 2 minutes ago. There's Dover. I mean, Dover's 6 minutes old at this point. That tornado is probably, if we have one, over towards Pomona. I mean, look at this. I mean, 57, 903 to 928, 935, 941. So we've had updates about every 7 minutes with this thunderstorm as it has moved through. So just waiting for a new update here from the Dover radar and see how far this has advanced. But we're going to come at another crossroads here in terms of, will the Weather Service extend this warning? And there's no reason to believe they won't. Will they? We'll wait and see. But there's broader rotation. It is still there, and we're in an environment still that we could get something to try to spin up here a little bit. So, Eastern Shore right now is the one problem child in the entire state. West of the Chesapeake, let me just make this clear, you are good. I know it's raining in Baltimore County and Harford County. West of the Chesapeake, west of the Susquehanna, you are good. It is Cecil County, down along the Eastern Shore, that we are still concerned about. We may see severe thunderstorm warnings at some point down the line. We'll have to watch for that, but even then, I don't think the velocity, the wind value, well, the southern half of the line, maybe. Over towards Madison, that's starting to bow out a little bit, starting to line itself out. And we may have a little bit of rotation here near Lloyd's. So, right here, we got a little bit of a velocity signature. So we'll have to watch that. That is going to be heading into Algonquin, if that does hold. Let me do something real quick. We'll go max 10. We'll stop the loop. And then I'll just... That's a new circulation that's just developed. So, those in Algonquin, I'll tell you what, that may be a little bit of a thing to watch. So, that's going to be interesting. There's our new circulation. It's looking broader. It's starting to look broader again near Piney Grove, which hopefully, and I really do hope that this line is starting to bow out, and it's trying to. what I think is happening here is this. We've had this notch and we've had this hook for a while. This circulation is starting to get caught up in all the other storms that are back to the south and becoming more linear. You could see it becoming much more congealed here in terms of just a straight line from Kent County down into Dorchester County. And I think what's happening here is that merger that we're all getting into, that big line of thunderstorms for the Eastern Shore, is finally starting to cut off this rotation that just for the last hour has refused to go away. And that may be what finally puts this rotation to rest. We'll see what happens with that. But that's what may be happening right now with this circulation. So, yeah, this merger of all things is probably going to be the thing that ends our tornado threat overall in terms of just not I shouldn't say overall, but just in terms of like the more singled out supercellular thunderstorms being the big problems. I think that's starting to help out in terms of just getting that done. Also, I could probably put this into 3D and just show you how high these are going a little bit. Let's go into 3D. Let's go into a little bit of 3D, shall we? And just show you. These storms, we're not looking too far up. I mean, we're only looking a couple thousand feet off the ground with this. But nonetheless, look at these storms, and these are fairly strong. I'll just put this in comparison to Sterling here. So give me a second. And I'll put up the Sterling radar in terms of the 3D, and I'll show you. See how we're looking a little bit higher up? I mean, there's our warning. And then there is Dover. And see how we're kind of looking a little bit lower and we can see everything a little bit better? And we're not as higher up now because we're closer to the Dover radar. We're kind of out that no man's zone, which kind of does help our situation. Just got to get these updates in, and that would be good. Let me go out of the 3D view, and we'll get this back to two-dimensional, and we'll... How about this? This is rolling up into Chestertown right now, near Piney Grove. Rotation is still there. It would be heavily rain-wrapped. In Chestertown itself, near Washington College, we're getting some pretty heavy rain. If there's something that's developing right now, it would be pretty much on the south side of Chestertown at this very moment. I have to try to use Sterling just to get a better view, but there's your rotation near Chestertown. We're looking higher up, but it's more updated. It'd be pretty much in the city at this point. So there's your rotation. So it says it's near Pomona, the rotation, and it got updated. Our radar indicated warning got updated again. Let's check our bulletins. Remains in effect until 10. So based on the wording, they may get a reissuance or they may extend this again. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, this storm would be over Chestertown or 9 miles north of Centerville, moving northeast at 30. So, Crumpton, you know, want to pay attention to this because this is heading your way. Other than that, we got our storms down here, and we may get a severe thunderstorm warning down in Cambridge, but this is congealing. And my hope is with this line of thunderstorms finally congealing and becoming more homogeneous, that we will finally get rid of the supercellular threat with tornadoes. And that our overall threat of tornadoes will go down in exchange for the heavy rain and the wind. We may get severe thunderstorm warnings, so if you're in Caroline County, if you're in Kent County, if you're in eastern Dorchester County, you're going to want to pay attention for some severe thunderstorm warnings, maybe a tornado warning at some point down the line for a QLCS spin-up. But I think right now, at least, we're getting towards the end of this, at least in terms of the overall tornado threat, which is good. So basically, from Goldsboro, Sudlersville to Marydale to Goldsboro, Greensboro, Denton, Federalsburg. You're going to want to pay attention for any severe thunderstorm warnings or flood warnings because we do have some very heavy rain and these are going to pack some gusty winds with them. So just know that if you are in those areas and heading into Kent County, Delaware, Sussex County, Delaware, I know it's been raining, but the main event of these strong to severe thunderstorms is still ahead of you in Delaware. So please be mindful of that across the state of Delaware this evening if you do have any plans for your Friday night. Looking at this rotation, it has definitely gotten broader. I think we're finally starting to get that linear phase to take place, and this will likely lead to our warning getting dropped here fairly soon, if not just being let to expire, which is very good news on that front. This one's been stubborn. This storm has been very stubborn over the last couple of hours. So just to touch bases on everything, so when this warning expires, we could just head off. We're getting some clearing now, which is good. Although we will have a threat for some more storms tomorrow with a marginal risk pretty much statewide with the exception of the mountainous ranges. Now, Western Maryland, I don't think we have quite the convective push to really get anything, especially on our higher elevations. But Cumberland eastward, we will have some form of threat, okay? So that's the main thing to remember. But we're finally getting towards the end of this. Get some clearing tonight after these storms move through. And then hopefully, as we head into tomorrow, we can dodge some of this, get this out of here, and we got a great second half of the weekend on tap. We do have a beautiful week ahead, although I will say the humidity will pick up by Wednesday and Thursday. But there is that. But finally, once we get this storm to finally get its warning to expire, I can go off and celebrate my birthday weekend. Yeah, I my birthday's on Monday, so thank goodness. But yeah, just waiting for this last storm to finally get out of here, and then flood warnings in place. So low-lying areas, flood-prone areas, small creeks and streams. Be mindful. That's the Patapsco River. We do have a lot of rain that's taken place. That warning goes to 11 o'clock, so that will expire in an hour. We may have some more severe thunderstorm warnings down the line. We'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, that is it. That is the big board. That is the picture. West of the Chesapeake, west of the Susquehanna, you are fine. It's really Cecil County down to Dorchester. And I would really say the southern half, south of I-95, down to Dorchester, where we have the biggest concerns for any severe weather. But we'll have to wait and see on that. For those of you, just keep an eye out in Caroline County, Eastern Kent, Queen Anne's, Cecil, Eastern Dorchester. Until we moving through Easton, you gotten through this okay. Like we've had some heavy rain, but gusty winds have not been the greatest. I mean, let me just check the Mesonet there in Easton. I mean, the wind in the last hour. I mean, wind gusts up to 15-20, which is good news in that regard. So there's that. That's from the Maryland Mesonet, by the way. The official Easton Air station, the airport. At the Easton Airport, a wind gust there. The maximum was, we didn't really get one. We had 15-mile-per-hour winds with some thunderstorms. So there's that. But this warning is going to expire here in seconds. And we'll see if we get anything else. The tornado warning will expire at top of the hour. It's top of the hour. We're done. we're done with this tornado warning, which is good news. And you can see the ticker just turned to green, which is good. So this warning is done. Finito. Out of here. And with that, that is essentially it. Just worry about damaging winds ahead of the line, flooding, but the tornado threat is starting to go down. It's starting to diminish, which is good news. Just keep an eye on everything here. Caroline County, Eastern Queen Anne's, Dorchester County, Southern Cecil. And into the Delmarva River, you may get some activity here where what's trying to develop back south, but we'll have to wait and see. For those of you in Worcester, Wycomico, and Somerset, just keep tabs on anything. But west of the Chesapeake, west of the Susquehanna, you're good. We'll have some rain on the back end tonight. After a little bit of clearing, got a little bit of space here for some clearing with this center low, but we may get some more stubborn showers and thunderstorms into the day tomorrow. So just please be aware of that. We will have concerns about excessive rainfall and flooding as well. With that said, I am finally going to try to get off of here. Please be safe, enjoy your weekend, and be mindful of the storms that are already occurring. So with that said, take care. Have a great rest of your Friday night. I'm Jay Mitchell, 4-0 WX.